Daisy, it was a pretty dramatic shift after quarter time. How did you view the game changing?
We knew Port Adelaide were going to come out. They're one of the better contested sides in the comp, and then their pressure as well. They're right up there. So we knew that they'd keep coming, even though we had a good start. And I think, what was disappointing was they sort of just started out working us for a good 10-15 minute period. So they were getting first hands on the ball, taking the ball forward, putting our backs under a lot of pressure. And then when we were able to win the ball back, I think because we sort of lost our way a bit, we then became a bit unpredictable to each other when we had the ball and just invited more of their chaos and surge game. I think largely it was that they lifted their intensity and we just missed the jump and didn't go with them in that second quarter.
Is that disappointing, I suppose, from a coaching perspective, having seen so many positive signs so far? Yeah,
it was. Yeah, disappointing, like I described off the top. But to their credit, responded really well after half time and fought it out in the back end of the game and didn't give in. I don't think when I say outworked us, it sort of wasn't that they're not trying. It's just you miss that 1 or 2 seconds of hesitation where you don't get after the ball, or ball goes their way and we don't transition as quickly. Little decisions to get in good defensive positions and be accountable for your opponent. It was more that side of things rather than feeling like it wasn't a lack of effort, so to speak. Just that 1 or 2 seconds that in top competition like this, teams will punish you.
How do you coach little moments that prove costly in the big picture, like rolling the ball on the ground, which costs a penalty, not picking the ball from the goal square, try to soccer, and it goes through for a point. Have another shot down here where the ball's smothered. Just in a 13-point game, those moments all add up.
They do, and we have been educating on those. Just we call it securing the ball or game awareness. Just being able to identify when the game demands a bit of control and a bit of a deep breath, and how we can create that for each other. Like the examples you gave there was probably more of those in the second quarter, but that's a credit to Port Adelaide and the pressure that they put us under. So it's a good feedback that we just got to keep working away at that and be able to still make those decisions when the opposition's coming at us like they were. But it's something that we've been working on, but we'll have to just keep going to work on it.
Could you believe the 50? Like, we just thinking what happened there when she chose to roll it on the ground rather than give it back?
I think she just accidentally dropped it. Zoe's a pretty smart footballer, and that was one moment she had, but she had a lot of other really good ones where she read the game and the ball really well. So, I think they're just the mistakes that happen when you're under pressure in this game, but Zoe will, and hers was just one example that we'll be able to learn from.
Talk a lot about, momentum in footy. How did you, view the inability really to stop their momentum during that period?
We tried a few different things, and we thought in that third quarter we were able to do that with a few structural changes. Tried to create a bit more density in our back half to kind of slow them down if they were going to quick kick it at us, and then off that be able to challenge them with our offence. So I felt like when we were able to get going, we started looking dangerous and had real optimism going into the last quarter that we'd gotten the game back on our terms and had the legs to kind of run it out. But a couple of quick goals to them at the start of the last quarter made life hard.
Ella Roberts' performance, that first quarter, she was everywhere, and to be able to fight it out with a bit of attention. Yeah,
she was incredible. Opposition are going to keep putting time into her, and the great thing about Ella, she's a competitor. She takes all that in her stride and sort of sees it as a compliment, and her ability to impact as a forward and mid makes life difficult in terms of finding a match-up for her. And sometimes, her first quarter was unbelievable. It's kind of like, pleasure to watch, I think, for all of us, not just the fans that came out. But she'll have things that she'll go away and work on as well. The game, she got a bit stuck. We rotate her forward and mid, and in that second quarter where we were getting no time in forward half, it sort of hung her out to dry a little bit because the ball just wasn't getting down there. But it's a constant in our coaching box of, is she best served forward or mid at any given time? So sometimes the way of the game will mean that we want her around the ball, and other times we sort of try and get her forward and be dangerous there. But yeah, maybe in that second quarter we missed her a little bit just because she was forward and we weren't able to get any time in forward half.
How much of a luxury is it to have her marking ability? And what you talk about the first quarter, she was just taking everything, came her way.
She's put a lot of work into it actually. That was probably one of her things that she was working on in the start of the year, where she was getting her hands to a lot of balls and not being able to grab it. So her and the coach have done a heap of work on her being able to complete a lot of marks. She's so courageous, like backs back with the flight. And I think the beauty of today is teammates now identifying when she's coming and how they can kind of protect her space, which was I think the first goal she kicked was Lauren Wackfer being able to really protect her space for her. So those that awareness of her teammates, knowing how to help set up your teammates to play to their strengths. But yeah, it's awesome to watch with Ella, and that's what I mean when you talk about tough matchup. You sort of need a midfielder that can go with her and then someone good enough to go in the air. So we're lucky to have her, and it was another really positive game from her today.
Michaela Weston's speed as well. There were a couple of passages where she really gave you some good depth to the kicking and burst. Were you impressed with some of her?
We were, yeah. She's worked so hard for us, Westy. She plays one of those loveless roles, that high half forward role where she's always our highest GPS. She's always prepared to do what the team needs and often doesn't get the ball and get recognition for it on the stat sheet. But today was a day where she was able to find it a fair bit. And yeah, she always empties herself out with her work rate. She made, one kick, didn't quite sit for Roxy, but just elite with where she put it out to Roxy's advantage. And then she worked so hard that she got some cramp and ended up off the ground for that last quarter. She had, pretty serious cramp. I think she's fine from an injury point of view, but just couldn't get her going again to get her back out there.
Tight competition, the difference emotionally between looking up and seeing yourself in the 8 and seeing yourself out of the 8 is different for everyone. So
are we out of the 8, are we?
You could be. Yeah. This game's to play tomorrow.
Yeah.
So how do you assessing it and talking to your players about that emotional challenge of the ladder and the constant changes depending on results for everyone else as well?
Yeah, we very much live in the space of like, what can we learn from that game? What do we need to go after to keep building our game style? And that's the same whether we lose or win. And like every other team in the competition, we're here in pursuit of a premiership, and making finals is a part of that. So it's very much a goal of ours. But week to week, it's not something that we sort of talk about or reference. It's more, all right, what gets us winning games? What do we look like at our best? And let's just keep trying to build and reproduce that, because that's getting in the 8 is an outcome of that.
Any other injuries or just Michaela's cramping?
Zoe Wackfer was off for a little bit. I think she just copped one in the eye and a bit of trouble with her contact lens. But other than that, I think we're all good, which is positive.